It's a 30-year-old male from Yaden. He has a Philadelphia address. Has confessed to committing this cowardly act in the name of Islam.
In no way, shape, or form does anyone in this room believe that Islam or the teaching of Islam has anything to do with what you've seen on that screen.
According to him, he believes that the police defend laws that are contrary to the teachings of the Quran.
This is a criminal with a stolen gun who tried to kill one of our officers. Has nothing to do with being a Muslim or following the Islamic faith.
Breaking tonight, disagreement between the Philly police commissioner and the mayor, and new questions about the Obama administration's response to the latest terror attack on American soil. The Kelly File reached out to the White House tonight and was told they have, quote, no comment on the attack. Nothing so far. Horrifying video shows the perpetrator trying to assassinate a Philly police officer. The man claims it was done in the name of Islam. Yet shortly after the attack, about 90 minutes after the police officials in Philly said it was in the name of Islam, the president's chief spokesman said he knew nothing about it. Watch.
I had not seen this before I walked out here, so as usually is the case, there are other people at the White House who are aware of this. It's just, given the tight turnaround here, it did not make its way to me.
Charles Krauthammer is a syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor, and author of the book Things That Matter. Charles, good to see you. So, okay, word didn't get to Josh Earnest within the 90 minutes between the time that they talked about it and the time that he came to the podium. But now it's late in the evening, and the White House has yet to issue any statement on the attempted murder of a police officer by a man who pledged his allegiance to ISIS, follows Allah, and says that is the reason he was called upon to do this.
With any other administration, we'd be astonished. But with this administration, we're not, because they simply refuse, and it's not just becoming ridiculous, it's becoming tiresome. They refuse to look. This was a jihadi attack, a terror attack within the United States, and you get no statement from the White House about this. It's because they don't want to say what everybody understands, what the nature of this was. I mean, it infects everybody. I just heard a little earlier, I think it was the police chief in Philly, who said this has nothing to do with Islam.
No,
which,
wait,
of course,
stand by. It wasn't the police chief.
Who
it was the mayor, the Democrat mayor there,
Then it's worse.
Jim Kenney, and let's play it for the audience so they know what you're talking about.
That makes it worse.
Stand by.
In no way, shape, or form does anyone in this room believe that Islam or the teaching of Islam has anything to do with what you've seen on that screen. That is abhorrent. It's terrible, and it does not represent the religion in any way, shape, or form, or any of its teachings. This is a criminal with a stolen gun who tried to kill one of our officers. Has nothing to do with being a Muslim or following the Islamic faith.
Except according to him. Except according to the actual attempted murderer.
Well, it's good to know that the mayor of that city is a Quranic scholar. Look, it is so absurd. I mean, you don't know where to turn. Yes, of course you want to say this is not an act. If you want, what you can say is this is a act resulting from a strain of Islam.
Right.
Say that.
Is that so
hard? But the fact is, it's not a trivial strain. It's on all 5 continents. It's in dozens of countries. There's a killing happening around the world somewhere in the name of this strain of Islam. Everywhere. I can name you a dozen countries in Africa alone. And the fact is that the central tenet of this strain of Islam is that there is a perpetual war against the infidel, and that a good Muslim has to be involved in it. Again, say it's a strain. Nobody's implying it applies to all of Islam. But the idea that it has nothing in any way to do with Islam is absurd, and it makes it, what it does is it drains any authority figure of any authority because it is so ridiculous.
Right. They're so focused on protecting Islam and its reputation. And any reasonable thinking person understands there is a difference between these radicals who do this in the name of their version of Islam and the peace-loving Muslims who populate the earth. But in this particular case, Charles, it's so egregious because the perpetrator came out, and right after the police commissioner said he had confessed to committing this cowardly act in the name of Islam, because he believed it was required under the teachings of the Quran. Within a breath, the mayor says it had nothing to do with Islam, the Islamic faith, or being a Muslim, because one guy's a straight shooter and the other guy's worried about being politically correct.
And it isn't only here. You see what happened, the events in Germany, where there were these remarkable, sort of completely out of control sexual assaults on New Year's Eve, perpetrated according to witnesses and the police report, by men of Middle Eastern origin. And yet, not only did the government stay away from that, it was suppressed in the media lest it stir up anti-Muslim feeling. So if that's your problem and that is what you're worried about, well, then you ought to speak about that, but you first of all admit the truth. You don't suppress it. And then you say, let's not confuse the strain of Islam with Islam in general.
Yeah. Last time
That's
around in San Bernardino, we got a lecture from the president about how we should not engage in a backlash against Muslims, which he put right on the same footing as we just had the worst terror attack domestically since 9/11. And here we are, another domestic terror attack, and there is nothing's been said by the White House. I got to leave it at that, Charles. We're out of time. Good to see you.
Thank you.